Haurin is a loner and a loser in his life. He dreams of getting a comfortable job and a nice girl in his life, but the reality is that he is useless. He cannot get a single job because of his stupidity and is ugly. After another day of failure, Haurin decides to sleep in the garden perhaps. A miracle happens to him in this life. Suddenly Dora shows up and, to lighten the mood, about the location of one of the apartments in the city. He discovers that the place is on the other side of the city. Taking advantage of the situation, he lies to her, saying that the address she asked about is actually his apartment. Later, both of them get on the bus, and on the way, Haurin asks Dora why she trusts him despite the possibility that he might be a kidnapper. Dora, being foolish, knows the appearance of kidnappers because they have big teeth to eat their victims, so she doesn't suspect him. When they get off the bus, Dora's suitcase wheels break and Haurin tries to help, but she's too confident and insists on managing it herself. However, to his surprise, Dora carries the suitcase like it's nothing. He's amazed but continues on their way together. During the journey, a strong wind blows, revealing Dora's ear, and suddenly her mother appears. Haurin is extremely shocked, and before he can ask, the cat's ear disappears. So he ignores the incident and continues with Dora. On the way, Dora starts acting strangely, and just before the fool gives up, she tells him they must escape immediately. Suddenly, another girl with black hair appears in the area, and Dora gets angry and transforms into a cat, attacking the girl with all her might until she disappears. Dora reassures Haurin and tells him that he must welcome before she harms him. But Haurin stops her and says that if she goes, he will return, once again as a failed loner. Dora is affected by his words and decides to go with him to the house. The next day, Haurin wakes up to Dora's screams, trembling in fear due to his pet dog. Haurin reassures her and tells her that it's a friendly cat. Suddenly, the black-haired girl to show her to her room in the house. Vivian is amazed by the room and searches for money to give to Haurin, but she realizes she lost it during the trip and becomes upset. She pleads with Haurin to allow her to stay, and moved by her intense crying, he reluctantly agrees to let her stay for free. Vivian promises to cook for them in return for her stay, and she prepares a luxurious feast for Haurin. The food turns out to be delicious, and Haurin is happy with his new unconventional family consisting of a werewolf and a vampire. Suddenly, he receives a call telling him to go somewhere urgently. He goes to the specified location and receives another strange call, instructing him to look up, and there, a spaceship appears in front of him. He tries to escape, but the ship pulls him inside. Inside the massive and luxurious palace, he meets a guardian made of energy who takes him to meet the president of the secret space agency named Raphael. Sitting down, Raphael informs Haurin that he was chosen from among many failures in the city to be responsible for this dangerous mission, which is protecting the Earth from destruction at the hands of aliens and non-human entities. The reason for choosing him specifically is that he managed to form a diverse group of individuals of different genders. His primary goal is to gather as many individuals, particularly females, as possible to be tenants in his house to maintain world peace. In case he refuses, his memories related to the tenants will be erased. Haurin asks her why they chose a fool like him. She tells him that fools won't ask such questions, and he is convinced by her words. Not wanting to return to his miserable, lonely life, he decides to accept her offer. Afterward, Raphael brings the official documents for their secret space agency to assure Haurin that he won't be deceived by this space agency. When he's done with everything, he goes back home and tells his wives about what happened. Vivian tells him that as long as the documents are legit, he can sue the secret space agency in court if they don't stick to the contract. Just imagine that. Anyway, Vivian warns him that they should be careful of demon hunters because they would kill them if they find out they're living with humans. After that, we see Haurin running from a giant wolf, but the wolf attacks him, and then he wakes up to find himself safe but with strange hair similar to what the wolf had in the dream. Haurin is puzzled by this and tells the others what happened. Vivian brings some powerful curse-dispelling tools and tells him that he's been cursed and it could potentially kill him in the future. She tries to use all the curse-breaking tools, but they are all useless. She informs him that the contract with the company is likely the reason for all this. Suddenly, Raphael calls him and says she needs him at headquarters. When he arrives there, Raphael has returned from a hunting trip outside the galaxy and tells him she'll brief him on the new mission. In the room, Raphael brings a special device and tells Hawarin that it will increase his strength in the future. After that, a huge coffin is brought in and she asks him if he wants to go inside. He tells her he won't do that. She thanks him for his cooperation, throws him inside the coffin, and suddenly Hawarin finds himself in the same place he dreamt of, with several wolves waiting for him. The wolves attack him, but he is resilient against their attacks because of the device he got from Raphael. He overpowers the wolves and they start howling. Suddenly, a giant wolf appears in front of him and Hawarin gets extremely frightened and tries to escape, but another wolf shows up and attacks him. The surprise is that the wolf can't kill Hawarin. The wolf asks him for his name and why he is here, and Hawarin tells him that he got lost and wants to return home. The wolf is amazed, but senses something different in Hawarin, so he decides to take him to the human village. In one of the houses, Hawarin finds a mysterious scroll, and as soon as he touches it, he gets transported from the place. At this time, we see Lily returning home and suddenly colliding with someone. She is surprised by the person's unusual strength, but the man ignores her. The next day, Hawarin goes to Farron's office, so she tells him that there is a new task, which is to bring a new tenant to his house, so she offers him 3 tickets to Europe, where the new tenant is. Then Hawarin goes there with the rest of the harem to Europe, and on the way they hear about a mysterious palace that contains on a very great treasure. Vivian sat down and decided to go to get this treasure, and after they arrived in Europe, they decided to stay in a hotel to continue their way. But since Hawarin didn't use Google, they end up lost in the city. Vivian takes the envelope and makes Lily follow its trail, but she becomes tired from the journey. So Hawarin uses his secret weapon and tells them they will have a meal once they reach the location. Lily gets excited and leads them to the nearest hotel. In the hotel, Hawarin tries to use the device he obtained from Raphael, but it doesn't work as expected. Go to the tenant's location. On the way, they hear news about a fire breaking out in one of the old mansions, and the source is unknown. Anyone who provides information about the cause will receive a huge sum of money. Vivian's eyes sparkle and she decides to go there. Upon arrival, Hawarin carries Dora on his back, and they head towards a nearby hotel. Purely by chance, they encounter that crazy old man from the news, who tells them that he's the owner of this hotel. The team gets rooms for the night, and for no apparent reason, the dimwit Naj brags about being a demon hunter. Strangely enough, the hotel owner seems pleased with this and tells them that he wants to help them. He then takes them to a dark place and starts telling the story of this mansion, and they start talking all dramatic, but I don't care. Then the owner mentions that there's a huge treasure waiting for someone deserving in this mansion, and now I'm interested again. The old man continues that the place has many tests, and those who want the treasure must complete them all. The two young ones go back to their room, and here Hawarin notices a picture of a beautiful girl with Naj. Naj tells him that she's his sister, and he's been trying to find her, which is why he became a demon hunter. He starts ignoring Hawarin and says, "Nobody cares anyway when you become more of a secondary character later." Later, we see the hotel owner gathering some dumb folks to go on a quest for the castle's treasure. Naj notices this group of idiots heading out, so he joins them. At midnight, Vivian wakes up Hawarin with her magic ball technique and tells him they must go to the castle before Naj gets the treasure. So the two of them go to wake up Dora, but they find out that she destroyed all the entrances. Vivian saves her with all her might, and they all head to the castle. On the way, Dora runs very fast because she's half asleep, causing her to break a whole mountain, which turns out to be a secret passage to the mysterious castle. The three of them enter the cave, which smells worse than a McDonald's burger. At the end of the passage, they find themselves in a meeting place for treasure hunters aiming to get the castle's treasure. Hawarin and his crew go inside the castle and encounter a group of explorers in front of them. They scare them off, making them wet their pants. And they escaped from the place. Finally, Dora decided to be helpful in their journey and removed the barrier in front of them. While searching for any means to delve deeper into the place, they discovered a secret passage inside the castle. The team decided to enter and explore it. At this moment, Nag used some wallpapers as magical tools to reach a secret location. But because the wallpaper was too cheap, he fell off the rock and turned into a tomato soup. Meanwhile, Hawarin and his crew had already reached the depths of the castle. Here, Hawarin found the hotel owner he had met earlier, who was probably coming to get the treasure alone. Vivian used her special charm to scare the old man away, and he ran off from the place. At the end of the passage, the team found a mural painting with strange symbols and languages, and when they read it, traps are activated, deadly ones, but Hawarin protects them and uses his strength to get them out of these traps. Dora uses her powers to disarm one of the traps, and Nag, the mouse, plays Fortnite with him. We'll get back to him when he becomes more than just a secondary character. Now back to Hawarin and his crew after they reach the treasure room. Before Vivian starts collecting the gems, Hawarin stops her and tells her it's a trap. Vivian thanks him for saving them, and they continue their journey. Suddenly, another trap is activated, one that will crush them, but Hawarin saves them as usual. Then a ghost knight appears in front of them, and Hawarin kills him with his sword. Vivian reads the writing on the sword and finds out there's a powerful demon stone feeding this place, and if they destroy it, everything will end. Hawarin asks her if she means this demon stone, and here they discover that they are in the heart of the castle, and all they need to do is destroy the demon stone. Vivian tells him they must do it right, or else they'll be killed in this place. The place at this point got Nag feeling bored, so he decided to blow it up completely. Because of this dumb move, the guards were activated, and a large number of ghosts appeared. The team starts fighting this massive army, but since they are outnumbered, their defeat seems certain. That's when Vivian activates her demonic power and destroys the ghostly army. Suddenly, a huge fiery entity descends, taking Hawarin with him. Now Vivian gears up for a fight with this monster, but the creature tells them he was looking for his master, who turns out to be Hawarin, the new tenant, and everyone is surprised. Even Nag, who's still just a secondary character. Anyway, Hawarin asks about what they're going to do with the stone in the castle. Here, our new friend tosses a giant meteor that obliterates the entire castle. Hawarin thanks him and tells him to transform into a human. Then the monster turns into Thick Nigs into